Welcome to World of Monsters. I'm Monster Master Arthur, and this is Monster Art Review. That's right, folks. This is the place where I review your artwork and possibly give you some helpful critique. And feel free to submit your monstrous artwork to me anytime through Facebook within a private message. Our first artwork is by our friend Ernie Mercer, and he writes, "This is Bob the Beholder. His likes are dwarven barbecue, playing chase with trespassers, and licking the cavern walls. His dislikes are cats. He is scared of them, smelly humans, and his master's treats rats. Not the brightest beholder in the cave, and often loses staring contests with himself. He is made out of super sculpey and some beads, based on a ruined tower." Here you have it, folks. We have Bob the Beholder. What a fun little sculpt. This is our first three-dimensional art being reviewed, so thank you very much, Ernie Mercer. Let's take a look at some things that I like. I definitely like the color, the choice of colors. I like the eyeballs. I like the darkness around the eyes to make them pop out a little bit more. Very cool, very cool. Let's see, what kind of critique can I offer? I would say if you're creating a structure like this, as it's simple, symmetry is not always that important. We want to make things look realistic and not created by, say, digital sculpting programs. But in this case, it is pretty important because if you don't follow a sense of symmetry, then these sculpt might look a little bit blobby. So I would say something like this, make sure you are pretty serious with the symmetry. As I know and as I imagine, the beholder itself does have a certain skeletal structure within it, so therefore it wouldn't have just a random blobby shape. So just make that a little bit more pronounced. Make sure those lines are pretty clean and clear. Since it's one eye, things are going to be pretty asymmetric for the most part. Let's take a look at some other stuff. These blobs of blood here are a little bit thick and confusing. I like them. I like that you added them. Just make them look a little bit more like blood and not like something dripped on his face from the cavern ceilings, if you know what I mean. So yeah, a little bit thinner in thickness blood. What it looks like here is we got really thin blood stained all over his face, and then we got really thick blobs. Where's the middle ground to make it look more, slimy? Some critique, if I could find any, that's useful here. Same with these things, a messy kind of look. I would say the tentacles are okay. They don't have to be perfectly shaped. It could be even more fun if they're a little bit more blobby and random. Just make sure, the point is to make sure that the artwork doesn't actually look like it's made out of clay, right? The point is to make it look like it's an actual creature. So taking away from any kind of squished areas like this. I mean, if it's going to follow a structure where it's a little bit flatter here, like that, make sure every single arm follows that structure, if you know what I mean. So that it has some kind of uniformity. It creates some character to the creature. If you have just random kind of shaped arms everywhere, it's going to look more blobbish and therefore more like it's made out of clay. I hope that makes sense. Just some ideas. Not right or wrong here, but you can let me know what you think. And let's see this is the back of the creature. Some things I like. I like this little texture created here with the lines. That's a very cool little addition. It adds to making this plain area a bit more interesting. Also, I love the little tail there. Look at the little tail. Look at that tail. Wiggling the tail. Does it wiggle it when it's happy? Does it act like a cat even though it fears cats? What if there was a little eyeball here? Ooh, that'd be interesting. Or an exhaust hole. Well, maybe that's the anus. Okay, too much talk here. But it would be kind of funny if there would be one last dragging eye here kind of watching its back always. The lone eye. Well, it's not a head after all, right? So it's not that lonely. It's just an eyeball. So anyway, very cool sculpt. Love it. Love that this is the first sculpt submission to this series. Thank you very much, Ernie. I really hope to see many more from you in the near future. Let's go to the next one. This is a piece by our man, Mark Comerford. And this is Evil Dead, a work of acrylics, an acrylic work, and very cool at that. I have to say, it's got wonderful contrast, considering especially that it's a work of acrylic. I like these brightness Here, I like this bluish kind of night light source here, and then this brightness here from a candle or a fire, something like that. I like those contrasts. It works wonderfully on this face. This face, maybe nobody's going to get my reference here, but it reminds me of Morbius, the Living Vampire. Morbius, the Living Vampire, and that's from Marvel, the Marvel comic series. Probably nobody's going to catch that, but it also has a little bit of the Crow effect to it, so I do like those themes. So very cool work of art here. Nice contrast, working on the chains to make them look metal. Everything looks pretty great. I'd love to see a big painting like this on a wall. It's a great piece to hang somewhere, guys. Some critique that I would offer is looking at the highlights, and there would probably be some darkness here and brightness more in this area. So I would say that the darkness here, the darkness right there, goes a little bit too high, and it makes the nose look flat right there, if you know what I mean. It's hard to show, but you see right there, it makes the nose look too flat. It looks like it's going down, right? And it shouldn't be going down. Not up there. It should be going down here. There should be a sense of shadow here, possibly here, but this area should actually be brighter so that the nose actually comes forward a bit. So that's just my suggestion. To make more sense here is what I kind of mean. All right? So like that, if that makes any sense with all these silly markings. But anyway, very cool work of art, sir. I hope to see more from you in the future, and I have a feeling we will very soon, sooner than you guys might imagine. Let's go to the next one. This is a work by my man Kevin. Well, he's not a man yet, but Kevin, by a boy named Kevin. This is, I think this is a Kitsune from the Multiple Tails. If I made a mistake or something, let me know down below. But it's kind of that idea with the multiple tails. I think that's right. I should have double checked before recording this, but yeah. Alright, so very cool. I like the debris flying around everywhere. Very fun, very active image, and I don't know, these like meteors flying down. I think that might be just a mess on the paper, but if it was planned, either way, that's very cool. It really goes well with everything that's going on, kind of in the background, things flying down, this rising up as this creature's going nuts with its open mouth. Great contrast with the black face and the clear or bright mouth inside. Very cool, making those teeth look more threatening. I would say the main issue here is starting with the light source. The light source is a bit confusing. At the beginning I thought it's coming from here, then I had to re-look it, then I had to reconsider, and what I think is happening here is the light source is coming kind of from us, from the front of us. So kind of like this. So if this is an arrow of the light source, this is kind of what's happening. The light source is following from us, the viewers, kind of. Okay, so the light source is in the front, so that means that this shadow here on this tail is the only one that's a little bit confusing. This shadow should not be here, it should be on this side of the tail, like that. And then this side should be brighter, like that. And that would make more sense when you compare with all the other tails. Same with the front. This shadow could be a little bit thinner as the light is coming from the front. And the feet over here could be a little bit darker since they are behind. One more thing I would focus on is make sure you're studying anatomy. Anything that you're drawing, look off of people. Look at people in real life and make sure you fix the shape of their arms. Think how the bones would flow, not just wiggly like that, right? There's going to be a straight point somewhere. There's going to be a curvy point. How would the muscles work, right? So here, this bone would be going straight. This one would curve, like as so, but this one would be going more straight or even thinner at the bottom, but not wider. Just some suggestions. Thank you for submitting this, buddy, and I hope to see more from you. All right, let's continue. Let's look at the next work of art on our list. Next, we have a work from Leonardo Kang, and this is obviously a work by pen. I like the little grittiness in the writing here. It says, "Oh, you're still here? And you are too. Sorry, your pal is dead, and you are too. Oh, you're still here? Jeff the Killer." Alright, that kind of rhymes. So anyway, I like the grittiness of the writing style. I like that repeated pen look. Very cool, it's effective. Nice stuff going on here. Jeff the Killer, a story from Creepypasta. You will see it in the future on Monstrous Literature, my other playlist. So, what I like going on here, I love the hair. One of my favorite parts of this artwork is actually the hair. I love that highlight on the top here and just how it gets thicker down here, and it's perfect. It has great dimension to it. It has great grittiness. I love it. There's also no noses, as you may have noticed, which is fine. It's just the style, right? So cool with that. I can't say anything wrong about that, as this isn't supposed to be realism. I enjoy the blood, the whole structure, pretty fun piece, great thing to practice. And to offer any more critique, I would say make sure you watch where the back is going, as the back is somewhere here, so make sure you continue that line. And the other arm here, maybe even darken this area a little bit with the pen to give it some dimension, since that arm is further away than this arm. So thank you for the submission, and let's take a look at another artwork by this young man. Here we have another classic from Creepypasta, and this is, of course, Slenderman. And it says, "You seem to be lost, child. You seem to be lost, child. Hello." We have this cute little person thingy with cat ears. Kind of, Japanese stuff. You never know if it's an animal or what it is, or human. But it doesn't matter, because people love cute things there, and they love scary things, and they love to mix together. So it works here. You seem to be lost, child. What I like in this piece is, of course, one of my favorite things in this piece is, of course, the rose. Beautiful rose with the spikes going on it. Very cool piece right there. And obviously he worked on his fingers. Should have erased those a little bit better, but good job in fixing that. That's an important thing, and that's an important lesson for any artist, is working on those hands. This is Slenderman, so I can't say he should be thicker here, but comparing to the arms, make sure that things still make some sense. Either make this arm kind of thicker and the hands smaller, or thicken this up a little bit. It makes more sense that way. And let's see, what else? Simple head, as Slenderman has. Now, looking at the little tentacles, I don't know what his tentacles are made of. If they're just shadow, kind of weird force tentacles of energy, then they could get thicker, thinner, it doesn't matter. But if you guys are working on anything like a tail of a dragon, a lizard, make sure it gets thick. It goes from thick to thin. Thick to thin. Like, for example, this tentacle here, you see? It goes nicely here, but then what happens here? It's getting all fat here. Why is it getting fat? So make sure it gets thinner, thinner, thinner. That's very important in the professionalism and level of your artwork. Just like that. I'm not saying this applies to Slenderman, because I don't even know what these tentacles are made of, but if we're talking about something like a tail or the arms of an octopus, tentacles of an octopus, they're always going to go from fat to thin, gradually. You are not going to have wider distances than the base of it. Okay, so just something to think about. Of course, I repeat, on the Slenderman, I don't know if that really applies, but it may, so something to think about. I like the grittiness of this tentacle right here, as it's not perfectly going around. That's very cool. It creates a lot of character for that piece. Okay, let's go to the next one, our final piece of the night, and this is Vincent Price, a pencil work by Mark Comerford. So, we have a revisit with Mark again. Thank you, Mark. Looking here, this is a great piece. When I first saw it, the eyes really struck me, just how big these guys are. And I was like, wow, maybe there's an issue here. Although it's really cool and dramatic, but there isn't an issue. When you look at the original photograph of this, the original image, the original photo, you will see that this is actually a fake head held by the actor. So it's not a real head, and that head does have big bulging eyes just like that, which is really dramatic and kind of cool looking, especially since it's severed. If you would pull somebody's head off or apply enough pressure, the eyes would pop like that. So that is a really cool dramatic effect, and especially in a drawing, I think it looks even more well balanced and somewhat realistic, if you know what I mean. So let's take a look at some things that I like. Overall, I like that it's a pencil work. Some advice that I would offer is lines such as this in the darkness. You see we have that line here and the line here. You can kind of see that. Again, I don't know if that's visible in the original artwork. This is just a photo of the original piece. But those kind of lines can be a little bit distracting and take away from the quality of the artwork. So make sure for anybody that's watching this, if anybody's watching this at all, that if you're doing shading, make sure you're following some kind of structure, whether it's straight lines the whole way through, or maybe crosshatch. Of course, crosshatch can get thicker at certain points, or maybe you're just doing this and then you're blending it up, which it looks like this is what's being done here. It's kind of blended better. So make sure you're keeping some kind of uniformity within your artistic style. So this, what's going on here, I would like to see that kind of blending here. So make sure no lines like that are visible when you're all done with your artwork. And again, they might not even be visible in the actual piece. Photos show all kinds of stuff that the naked eye doesn't see sometimes. The main thing that really I noticed was the shadow here on the hand. So that's an issue, guys, that happens sometimes when you're drawing a picture off of an image. Sometimes we depend on that image too much and we forget to kind of think logically what really works. So what I'm saying here is this dark part here, this shouldn't be too dark. This is good. It should be a little darker here and brighter here, right? Because this is the bone. The bone's going through here. We have bones going through here. We have bones going through here. Bones going through here. Bones going through here. So all the parts in the middle of those should be darker. So let me illustrate a little more clearly what I mean. Let's use a green here. Okay, so you see, as you have that highlight here, I would highlight almost as much right here. This would be a higher point of the finger right here. This would be a high point. We have the knuckle bone here, so it wouldn't be too dark, but it is bending in a little bit, right? And then bright again here. The same here. This should be brighter here, a little bit brighter here, here, here. And that would make the hand look more three-dimensional. So the dark points would continue to be a little bit under. So this is considering we're thinking that the light is coming sort of from the top in front of us. So the light source is probably going something like this, if you follow the arrow, like this, and the point here. That's probably how the light source is going. It's going from us, right, forward. So if that's so, even if the light source is straight from the front, you're gonna have shadows on this side of the finger and this side, right? This side and this side and this side. Okay, but since the light sources are coming from a little bit above, then that means that bottoms are going to have more shading and the tops are going to have a little bit less shading, like so. So let's clear it up and take a look at it again. So if you can understand kind of what I'm saying here is the dark points here all make the hand kind of look flat. And as I've mentioned, sometimes when we draw off of photographs, things like that happen. We just don't see, we just miss some things. So remember, when you're working off of a photograph or something, make sure to put the photo aside and just look at the artwork and ask yourself if everything works. Does it look three-dimensional? Does it look like the light source makes sense? Can you see the bone structure, the original structure of the subject that you are actually drawing? Okay, so just as a final note to better illustrate what I meant was, let's even start with the nose here. I'm going extreme here, but I would say use this highlight that you have here. That's the brightest highlight you have, and that's what you should see on his nose as well. So right here, I'm kind of just pinpointing where the highlights would be. The lips, of course, lips being wet and, you know, glossy. Bright points here, here, the eye. Let's see, maybe part of the chin. Alright, so about there, those would be your brightest points to make sure you get the dimensions out. And same with the nose here. And here there's an issue again with the shadow, so make sure, so this comes out a little bit, so there should be some brightness here actually as well. Possibly here on the lip, bottom lip, maybe even on the chin just a little bit, the cheek, and as that being the closest to us, the eye. Maybe here in this area, maybe following down here on the cheek, and then going to the hand. The hand, okay, we have the bright point here, as I've mentioned. That's good. I would go maybe a little bit here. This is going in, but not this dark. So it's going to get lighter here, lighter, and then dark under. Okay, so like that. A little bit brighter here. The bone's not here, so that's a little bit not right here. The bone should be where the dark area is. That should be brighter, like that. So if we use, let's use a dark color to kind of spot that shadow. So of course the shadows following here, not so much here, maybe on the very bottom, because there's a knuckle right here, so it can't be too dark. And then here, on the bottoms of those. If it's going to be so dark here, this finger would be completely dark like that. So since it's not, that means this shouldn't be that contrasted up above. So Mark, I hope that makes sense. And one more thing, guys, here's a great place of practice to pay attention to. Scarves like this is a great thing to practice with high contrast. One great exercise to do is to crumple up a piece of paper, put it on the table, shine a lamp on it, and draw it. Draw it with a pencil. You get all these little details and shades and blacks and whites and little bits of gray. That's really great practice. So nice work, Mr. Comer Ford, and thank you for the submission. I really look forward to always seeing them from you and to see more from you. Hope this was helpful. Hope it was enjoyable. If you guys want to submit your art to me, you can find the link to my World of Monsters group on Facebook. Just find my name on there and send me your artwork in a private message. If you post it anywhere else, I will not review it. I will not put it in the video because I see artwork all over the place. So please be sure, if you want your artwork reviewed, critiqued, or presented in the video, send me your art in a private message saying that you want that artwork in a video, and I will do so. Thank you for watching. Once again, this has been Monster Master Arthur on Monster Art Reviews. Thank you for watching.